Well, hello, everyone. So glad you could join us again for another episode of the Therabytes podcast. And today, to follow on from the conversation that we just had with Stuart Crowther at Rehab Technology, I now have someone really, really special. This is my second time meeting him. He's a pretty spectacular person, and I can't wait for you to hear more stories from him. His name is Ashley Lewis. He is the lead installer at Aerotech. Welcome to Perth and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's so good to have you here. Now, first and foremost, thank you for traveling so far. I know it's no small thing. I mean, talk to us a little bit about where you've come from.
So I live in Maine, which is the East Coast. So to get here, it's Maine to California, and then California to Sydney, and then Sydney to Perth. So it's quite a journey.
It's the furthest point you could possibly
Well,
go
it's like
from one
33
side,
hours, 34 hours fly time. So it was
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And you're here for a few days and you're headed back again.
Yeah.
And so we're just really grateful that you're here. But I thought every time you talk, every time you tell a story, I know I'm captivated because you've been part of Aerotech now for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us that story. Like, how did you get involved? How did that happen?
So I've known Joe, who owns Aerotech, for a long time. And we, my father and I had a R&D machine shop, and Joe just, from knowing him, we helped Joe develop ZeroG with, all the first prototypes and testing, and so it's probably been like 15 years now. We and then Joe, after we get done, we developed the product. Joe kind of started selling on his own and ran into a few problems with some the first install actually, and called me and asked me if I would be interested in getting on board and doing some installs, and and it just, so that was a long time ago. Now I don't know how many we've done now, but over 300 I think it has been. Yeah, so it's been quite a journey.
Pretty incredible. So you've pretty much seen the evolution of the product itself as well, from the beginning to where it is now. Yeah.
Version 1, version 2, and now version 3, and now the new product that 3D is just awesome on another level.
It really is. And to see where it's come from, I was just talking to a lot of colleagues of mine about, why I love this product so much. And it's because of what it means to us as therapists and what we can therefore do with the kids that we work with and enabling them to live their best life. But I thought it'd be really interesting to go through the different versions because you've been part of it for so long. Like, what was version 1 and what were the main things that evolved over that time?
Well, so to be honest, like the functionality of the V1, 2, and 3, I don't get in any of the programming or anything like that. I just, the mechanical installs what I do, but I think that this new version 3 is just they've got it bulletproof. The the mechanical end of it, I think, is just really an amazing unit. But mechanically, they look a lot different. A lot of the stuff that's been changed is on the programming end and user friendly for the therapists and stuff like that, which I honestly don't do a lot of.
Yeah. But when it comes to the actual install, like, I'm always really, I don't understand it. I'm very intrigued by seeing everything that you do. It's very precise, isn't it? What are some of the main things that you need to make sure a place has to install a ZeroG?
Well, yeah. So there's all kinds of different installs, obviously, different construction, the different builds, steel I-beams, concrete, the way the build wooden structures. So Aerotech does a great job up front before I show up, identifying any issues, putting the actual install method in. They do a great job. We very rarely get on site and there's any surprises or anything like that. So it makes my life a lot easier working with some guys that prepare like that. Yeah.
And over the years then, so you've obviously installed a lot of ZeroGs.
Yeah.
Are they mostly in the US? That's where they mostly are.
Yeah. We've got some abroad, but it keeps me busy right there in the U.S. doing them. Doing like one a week now.
Wow. That's incredible. What kind of centres is that? I mean, the reason why I'm asking is that there's just so, obviously we're just starting here in Australia. There's just a few sprinkled about the place, and we're so lucky that we have 3 here. But what kind of centres have them? What, are they mostly adults, pediatrics, community?
I mean, all of the above. A lot of just rehab centers, you know, strict rehab centers. But I mean, we're getting them in everywhere. The hospitals, a lot of the pediatric stuff that's getting bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I've only done 6 of the 3Ds, but you know, those things are coming. You can tell that thing is just, once you get in it, like you yesterday, unbelievable. Nice.
Well, I got into it yesterday, and this morning I came in a bit early and I had a really good play in it.
You did?
Yes, I was very sweaty this morning after that because I wanted to explore it. And so I did all kinds of dancing and moving, and it is incredibly smooth. Like it's intuitive to use as well. So it really is just the most marvelous piece of technology I've ever encountered in rehab.
That's great.
It really is.
That's great.
It really, really is. So yeah, I was just saying before that I was pretty teary seeing it being installed, and sounds a little bit strange, but I guess it's something that I've always hoped for. Like I've always hoped that this kind of development would come its way. When ZeroG first came out, and I was like, yes, this is definitely what I want. And it was along to a track, and the question's always going, well, how can you move sideways? I'm like, oh, you know, one day maybe the tech will be there. And then when this actually came about, it's kind of like ticking all the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Really. And then, you know, you don't need, since you can, you know, move X and Y, a 30-foot area or a 10-meter area now turns into, you know, it's a big track.
Yes, it really is. Yeah, the space that you can cover is incredible. I would love if you're okay. You don't have to name the hospital necessarily, but you've talked a little bit about different installs in places in the US that I always find really interesting. There's this one that you guys were talking about where there's a ZeroG on every level. Yeah. Tell me about that install. Like what was that one like?
Well, so it was a pretty good sized hospital, obviously under construction. So there was a lot of obstruction. Sometimes we got to go in early in the build and put get some of our hardware up in the ceiling.
Oh wow!
So because after all the other trades come in, you can't access, you know, where we got to be. So we'll go in and we call that like a phase 1. We'll do a phase 1 install, and then once the hospital gets to a certain point in construction, then we can go back and what we call do phase 2, and that's, you know, basically once a room is like furniture ready, then we can go in and finish the install. But they had, I think it was 8 of them, and it was an 8-story building, I believe, 8 or 9, and they're what they said, it'd be nice if someone was in a real bad state, they arrive in a helicopter on the roof, obviously, and then as the patient progresses, they using ZeroG and all that on every level, and their hope was they fly in on a helicopter on the roof and walk out of the first floor on their own.
That is
was
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was neat.
That's really great. Yeah. And to be involved from the beginning and to have that foresight to plan that as well. Yeah. That's really great.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most impressive installation space you've ever gone into? I mean, Healthy Strides aside.
It is. It's great.
But you would have installed heaps and...
Jeez. I mean, just some of these gyms now, not really one comes to mind. I mean, probably some of the nicest ones are these 3Ds because they're just so impressive. And going to these new hospitals with a bunch of, you know, the windows on the 6th floor and beautiful views and 3Ds in there. It looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things I think I saw. There was an Instagram post that The Rock put out, and he had gone to visit a hospital. I can't remember which hospital it was in the US.
Really?
It was a military rehab center. And I looked in the background, I could see on the track this really massive track that kind of went around the whole gym. And I could see ZeroG there, and I thought, that's cool. Like, it's just really...
We've installed some big ones. We installed one that was, I think it was almost 250 feet long.
Wow.
Yeah, huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
do they come round on themselves again, or they sort of finish on a track?
That particular one, a lot of them do,
Yeah.
but a lot of them, bend and curve through the gym, navigating. Their plan always for their patient, the beds and different treadmills and rehab stuff. So they'll snake in around the whole gym, get around everything, and
Yeah, that's really great.
yeah.
And then how much is it when you see it working and happening? I mean, we were troubleshooting some things and some ideas that I had already. Do you find that happens a fair bit, where you kind of look at something and you can see like your creative part of you comes in?
Yeah, it's great to it's a rewarding job, just seeing the end result and the people getting helped and everything. But it's also fun when the people you're installing for are excited, which is the case here, and it's great. It's really fun because I know you guys are gonna use that thing to the full potential.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely will do. Look, I think it's one of those things where it's with great intrigue. You're always excited to see where the future of technology will take rehab. And I think that's always something that we're really excited about. And I do feel like right now, the future is most certainly here.
Oh, yeah.
We often talk about things like robotics and robots that help people to walk. But there's a lot of limitations still with batteries and how it moves. But there's something really unique about this product that really aligns with how our brains learn new skills. And that's the part that gets me really excited. That the way we learn, we know how the brain wires itself. And ZeroG, not just on the track, but 3D even more so, will allow us to do that. And we're all just incredibly thrilled that you're here. We just can't believe, I mean, I know it's part of your job to fly all this way, but I still get really emotional thinking you've flown 35 hours to be here and then you're about to turn around and go all the way back again. But, we are so excited to see where this is going to head. We're so grateful. Like, I genuinely mean on behalf of our team and all the kids that come to see us, which is hundreds every single year, they're going to benefit from this. I can't begin to tell you how grateful we are.
It's more than welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
All right.
This is the first ZeroG3D outside of the US. It's such a privilege to have it here, and the part that you've played in their story, the part you've played in their progression is actually really significant. And I hope you get to see all of that as well. I know you see it from the beginning, but to allow us to be part of that whole journey, it's been instrumental, and you've been an instrumental part of that.
Can't wait to see it. Thank you.
I'll be sending lots of videos for sure. So all of our listeners, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. And definitely get in touch with us. Come and have a look at us. We can't wait to show it off and show you what the potential of this will be. So talk to you all again really soon. Bye.